Hello everyone, welcome to Amateur Hour Gaming. Today I'm taking a look at the Stanley Parable. This is one of my top 5 favorite games of all time. It is absolutely right up there with the heavy hitters of my favorite gaming experiences ever. The Stanley Parable released October 17, 2013, which is 7 years ago now, which is crazy. If you look at my game time for this game, I've only put 10 hours into it, and it's still, 7 years later, absolutely one of my best gaming experiences. Um, it's only on PC, but they developers have announced that they're making a super deluxe edition with additional content, and it'll be on consoles. And that's supposed to release this year, but they've already delayed it a bit. I could see it being delayed again with the state of the world. So we'll see. Anyways, I'm excited for that. Uh, I don't know how I'm going to fill an hour of this game because you can see pretty much everything in a couple hours. If you don't know what the Stanley Parable is, just real quick, it's essentially a walking simulator, but there's this dual, this dichotomy between you, the actual player, and the narrator of the game. And it's so fun. It's a hilarious game. I When I first played it, I couldn't stop. I had to see every ending, I had to see every outcome. I even ended up well, we're gonna begin the game. I'll talk. I'm gonna let the narrator do some talking, so this is probably the video that's gonna have the least of me talking, which might be for the better. I even like got console commands and went into that to like be able to teleport around places because I wanted to find all of the secrets of this game. And even if you do that, it gives you a little secret. This is taking a little while to load. I'm gonna let the narrator do his talking, and I'm gonna not talk over him as much as I can because that's the experience. For our first run through, we're gonna do exactly as the narrator says. That's the baseline run, because even that has some great writing, some hilarious moments. We'll get to experience that. If you haven't played this game, it's fantastic. Even there's a demo for this game, a free demo that you can find out there that is completely separate from this, but also a hilarious, amazing experience that it's a okay.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
So that's the setup for the game. Stanley gets to work and he doesn't get any instructions.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Here's a nice little
No
joke.
matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
There's everyone has different numbers and computers except for person 432 who has a light and a pencil sharpener at his desk. I forgot to mention the Stanley Parable actually began as a Half-Life 2 mod that came out in July 2011 and then it became a full release game in 2013. Uh, these doors you can interact with, but they're all locked. We don't know what's going on. Stanley gets to work and everyone's gone.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ooh, ooh, creepy.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah, let's go talk to the boss. Here's some of these things. How to solve a dispute with a coworker, let it fall. Oh, it's gone. These are all just little funny things about if you've worked in an office, you're gonna be like, haha, these funny. Oh, a broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Okay.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Boy, that's very white.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover
Very
not an
tall room.
indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yeah. Sheer luck. Talking about a game from 2013, we got a loading screen in the middle already. So this we're gonna see more of it later, but right now we're just doing as the old boss. What happened? Oh, that was weird. Okay, I'm gonna try not alt tabbing again. We'll just have to remember. I should have started
Deeper
time.
into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
So yeah, Stanley's always been basically a machine, just doing as he's told.
Stanley
For his
walked
whole
straight
life.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Oh, okay.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Also, I haven't played this game in 4 years, so this is I don't remember everything. I remember a lot of things, but it's been a while.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
I'm waiting for them to turn back because there's another fun little thing. It doesn't look like they're gonna turn back. Oh, there they go. There's pirate up there. Everyone's got a number, and then there's pirate.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
That's right. Stanley isn't being controlled by anyone. Certainly not me.
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
So Stanley's whole thing is he's been told what to do his whole life. And if you listen to exactly what the narrator tells you to do,
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
so it's all a ruse, basically. He is he doesn't have control over his life because he's doing exactly what the narrator tells him to do, down to a T. His whole thing is like, I've got free will. I can do whatever I want when I'm in control of him. So let me just see what time we're at. 13 minutes, and we're at that time. Oh, that math is hard. I was hoping the numbers would line up better. Oh, what did I do? Why is it like this? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, okay. So we're at... Let me start a timer so that I don't have to do that again. I should have done it before, but I forgot. And go. So, about 47. Okay, so what happens? That's what happens if we do exactly as the narrator says.
Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
So we start back. It's like a time loop, pretty much. I don't remember that.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, we're gonna go to the right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
No.
But eager to get back to business,
Oh,
Stanley
no.
took the first open door on his left.
No.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Okay, I think I remember how to get to my favorite route.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
It's a lot of
There's
boxes.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
I believe I'm supposed to take the third option now.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
We'll give it a 4.
Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Clearly there's something here that speaks to you. If I can be honest here, I really don't have any idea where I'm going with this. This whole third door thing was just a stab in the dark. But I guess you're into it, so let's keep this party train rolling. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh yeah, we got a leaderboard. Cause what makes games better? Leaderboards. Good old Neil, Skid, Nicho, Nacho. Man, I wonder where we are in the leaderboard. Only the worst 3% of players. We're dead last, 9,328. That's not very good. Compete against others to improve your Stanley Parable career. How long does it take you to get the correct door? Why not ask some friends for help? Friends list empty. Wonderful. Okay, so let's take the third door.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please.
I don't like leaderboards.
Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Okay, so I believe we're on the track for. Oh,
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
so this is one of the endings I haven't gotten. you, you, you have to press this button and keep this baby from the fire for four real life hours. I've looked at videos because I can't do this for 4 hours. And at one point they add, I believe it's a vat of acid and a puppy falling from the sky, and you have to bounce back and forth between keeping the baby safe and keeping the puppy safe. But we're not gonna do this for 4 hours because that's absurd. Sorry, baby.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your
Aw.
input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here?
We upset the narrator.
Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
We upset the narrator. He's not happy because we don't do what he says. So he's like, fine. You can play
Well,
this game.
Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
So we're in
Well, I'll say this.
Minecraft.
I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
We have to do some mining and some crafting.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
You can't actually do any mining or crafting. You can't even jump here.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Yeah, way too open-ended. We need something with more structure. We need something with more story. Come on, narrator. Give me something I want to play.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
If you didn't know what this is Portal, the first Portal game. That's what we're playing now.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work, and I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
And he's actually gone. He's gone for this run. From this point on is where I actually don't like this ending so much, because I don't get it. But that's okay. From what I understand, from what I've read, this... Not this area. So we just drop down to some unfinished office stuff. Looks pretty weird. Let's just drop down again. And then we are in this, which from what I've read is this is how the Half-Life 2 mod of the Stanley Parable looked. And I remember when I first played this, I was creeped out because it's just dead silence and there's nothing here. I don't remember how to actually get to where we need to go. So, but this is just a little callback to how this game originated as a mod, which I don't even think I've looked up video of. I should do that sometime. Oh yeah, there's the two doors, so we're going this way. Yep. And then here's Stanley's original office. Do I just quit? Isn't there something more? Oh, yep. That's right, it just blacks out.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
I wonder if it wants... Oh, nope, there it is. So there you go. That's another one. Let's see.
All of his co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
There's... is it this room or is it this? Okay, we won't worry about that one. Oh. There's a time where you can look in one of these windows. I think it's... No, it's not that one. And you can see a man running
When
away.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
And I've never seen him. But I've seen pictures/videos of him.
Yet there was not a single person here either. feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Oh, no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
I believe if you stay in there, he says more stuff, but we got time. Okay,
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
I don't remember what happens when we go down. So let's see.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was
look at that hair
interrupted by
texture.
the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
So that's an interesting one. Stanley's just insane, an insane person. I'm hoping we get to find the adventure line, but I don't remember how to make the adventure line.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing.
But I don't remember how to do the adventure line, so we're going to do another one that I do remember how to do.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
One thing I will say
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
You do...
Wow. Yes. This room. What a beautiful room.
It gets me every time.
What a gorgeous, gorgeous room. Thank goodness Stanley had taken this detour on his way to the meeting room. Life without having experienced this room was now too horrible even to consider.
One thing I will say is you do a lot of
eager to get back to
repeated
business,
stuff.
Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Is this the adventure line room? I think this might be the adventure line room. We're gonna take a risk. I don't know what's here.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section,
dang it.
walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
I think that might actually put me back on track. Let's go here. Shoot, I don't know where this I don't think this is the adventure line. I don't know where this is taking me.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake.
That genuinely scared me a little bit.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Actually, I think this is it.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay.
Everyone close your eyes.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
All right, let's Start over. That was a bad run.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh shoot, I don't. Oh, yeah, okay.
When Stanley... Wait, what? No, no, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Oh, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere, or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
Where are you, story? I remember I tried going through this maze to see if I could find anything special, but it's just a maze. Oh.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Okay, let's try again. Bad. Bad. How come there?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything? Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh dear.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building.
Oh.
Is that correct?
Door's just gone.
Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win!
Yay!
Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Maybe this isn't it. Oh, there it is.
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable adventure line. Just follow the line. How simple is that? You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen that before.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Okay.
Wait, what? We're back at the office?
Oh, yeah.
No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell? Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart. You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be,
Ooh,
Stanley,
left turn.
I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact,
This is
I
important.
believe I need a minute to think here.
Okay.
Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits. Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The whatever it is that made this schedule, how would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story, wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination, so I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Oh gosh, that scared me. Okay, that was the Adventure Line ending. Another one of my favorites.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
I don't remember how to do it, but there's a way to glitch yourself up onto this desk and jump out the window. And then it's got some weird stuff, but I don't remember how to do that. And I don't want to spend too much time trying to figure it out. Let's see, here it is. There's this one where you find 5 computers that are, oh, how did I get up on this one? Where they're awaiting input, and if you press the input in all of them, how did I get up? Oh, this box. Okay. If you press them all and go back to your office, Stanley goes to button heaven, which is
when Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors,
heaven. It's just a whole bunch of buttons, and you can press them endlessly because that's what Stanley does all the time. Is he presses buttons.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's see, just another thing to show you. There's the executive bathroom. I don't remember that. Just a little bathroom. I thought there was another input there. We can go this way. Oh my! That's not very nice. We can go in this elevator. And this elevator ride never ends. You aren't actually moving anywhere. I waited so long, because, you know, we don't know what's going to happen in this game. But it doesn't go anywhere. There's a secret ending where, as these doors close, you can sneak out.
Stanley was once again stunned to discover
and you leave the narrator behind.
What could it mean?
The code, I don't remember.
Stanley wondered
you leave the narrator behind. He's stuck in this room.
He began wildly
and then you can go all the way back to the beginning, back to your office, and the door next to your office is open.
Desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret pin number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known that. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad,
go back to the beginning and you enter this door next to Stanley's office, and you go through these rafter staircases, I guess. It's a lot of staircases. You just go up and up and up and up for a long time. It starts to feel like it's one of those, is this looping? Is this really happening? And you eventually get to the top, and there's a rocket. It's very dark, but it looks like a rocket. And you walk up to it, and then it just ends that run. It kind of feels like it was an ending that they never actually finished. I don't know. I'm hoping that when they do the redo, the Super Deluxe Edition, that they'll actually have that ending.
Through the large door that read,
we're gonna go to escape. I don't remember what happens when we go to escape.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Bring
The
it.
door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
I think I remember what this is, but we'll have to see. We're running out of time on this, and I hope that this has shown you why I love this game so much. It's definitely a show, not tell game, because you have to experience it. I can't just tell you the jokes or tell you why it's funny. And
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
so this is like a little museum just to show you some of the dev stuff. And I got this the second time I played it. And it was really weird because I didn't know. It shows some stuff from other endings and other things that you can see, like this. Oh, that is. I'm gonna go this way. I don't remember how to get out of here or what it is. It's just a neat little thing that you can go see. Just some neat little touches. I wanted to stop and read all of it. Here we go, I think.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
I believe if you quit there, it just resets it. There's nothing special about it. But that's an interesting one too. There's I'd say we've only looked at about half of the endings today, so if you want to go and find other stuff, there's other stuff I haven't mentioned because I've forgotten it. Uh, like instead of jumping down like I did to get the Minecraft portal ending, there's a. Do I have to? Oh, okay. My bad. Let's just quit to menu because we have. Oh, I'm over time. Wow, that's never happened. Okay, my apologies. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, or if you didn't like it, don't do those things. I don't want the false sense of you liking it. Yeah, check back in later. I should have another video next week. Thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.